Why do dogs bark? Dogs bark for many reasons. If you've ever lived with a dog, you'll have no doubt that they bark, growl, whine or howl to talk to us. It's thought likely they learnt to vocalise more specifically to communicate with us. They bark to get our attention or as a signal of how they're feeling. Excited, anxious, afraid or frustrated. They may have something more specific in mind, such as food, water, that tennis ball you mistakenly put on the top shelf, walk. But what concerns owners most is unwanted barking, such as constant barking for attention, barking at passers-by, barking unnecessarily at sounds. Barking for attention. This can range from the occasional nag to full-on constant barking when they're being ignored, which can make them very difficult to live with. This may have started when, as a young puppy, they were inadvertently rewarded for barking or whining with their owner's attention. Whether the response was a pat, play, their meal, or shouting and glaring, it nonetheless gave them the attention they were after. This isn't too difficult to stop, but you'll need to be both consistent and persistent. Your dog's most likely to practice this behaviour when overexcited or bored. So your first step will be to address that by making sure your dog has a suitable mix of physical exercise and mental stimulation. Alongside that, be careful to reward your dog only when quiet. Barking at passers-by. Unfortunately, this is also a very common problem and one that can be trickier to deal with. Some dogs get into the habit of barking at passers-by either through a garden fence or out of the window. This is another behaviour that's naturally reinforced. For example, barking at the postman. Postman walks to the house, dog barks, postman pops letters in and goes away again. From your dog's perspective, the postman has heard his warning bark and retreated. So your dog's now happy he's the best guard dog ever. And this scenario is similar with passers-by who, by definition, are approaching your house and passing on by. There are various ways you can train your dog to stop this happening. You will need to prevent your dog freely accessing the window or garden fence while you're training. Barking at other times. Some dogs bark every time the doorbell rings or if they hear a noise outside. Many of us are happy to be alerted to someone arriving. But when the barking doesn't stop after your visitor has arrived, it quickly becomes irritating. For this type of behaviour, teaching your dog to bark when asked may be the best way to resolve the problem, as it gives you plenty of opportunity to teach quiet as well. So, if you have a barking problem, working out why it's occurring is going to be the best way to begin resolving it. Woof woof.